Welcome, Trailblazers. Today we are going to peel back the layers of reality. Not our reality, of course, that would be too simple. No, we are diving into a simulated universe, one so detailed that it rewrites history whether you like it or not. At the very heart of the simulation, we have Herta, a woman who spends her time proving that what is written in the textbooks, well, it is probably wrong. Herta's obsession, the Scholars Strife. A nice little footnote in history, or at least that is what people want you to believe. It is a long forgotten conflict between some of the most brilliant minds in the universe, and like any good academic debate, it ended with betrayal, war, and the collapse of trust in the pursuit of knowledge. But what if the story you know is a lie? Herta seems to believe so. And when Herta believes something, she makes sure everybody knows. So here is the thing about Herta. When she's not busy running a floating space station or flaunting her Genius Society badge, she's using the simulated universe to figure out where history went wrong. Not the little stuff, mind you, no, she's hunting down the big lies, the kind that entire civilizations were built on. This time, she's after the truth behind the Scholars' Strife. History claims it was a minor academic quarrel, some heated arguments, a few broken contracts, nothing major. But Herta, she knows better. She believes the history fictionologists, which is their actual name, have been pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. And when Herta thinks you are wrong, well, good luck hiding. Herta believes the fictionologists have been busy rewriting history, concealing what really happened during the Scholars' Strife. To do that, they use the Enigmata as a convenient cover story. Because what's better than a shadowy aeon to pin your crimes on when you're trying to erase the truth? And now our job? To unravel the mess. Herta sends us, the Trailblazer, into the Unknowable Domain, our newest expansion to the simulated universe, in order to find out what the hell is actually going on. Because according to Herta, everything surrounding this event, the Scepters, the Scholars, even the war that followed, isn't just misunderstood, it is wrong. And she is determined to drag the truth out of the simulation, kicking and screaming if necessary. Not to mention that the appearance of the Unknowable Domain was outside of Herta's control. It is an event which she did not create. And what do scientists do when they find something they don't understand? Well, they study it. So here is where it all gets interesting. Our Scepters. The very Scepters you are using within the Unknowable Domain. Scepters which originally belonged to Emperor Rubert II. The same Rubert who was responsible for the second war between organic and inorganic life forms you learned about during the Golden Gears expansion. If you don't know anything about Golden Gears storyline, then that is completely fine. All the major points will be explained throughout the video, and if you are interested in a more detailed breakdown of those events, then let me know in the comments below. Either way, these scepters aren't just fancy trinkets the scholars used in order to look important. No, they were the key to unlocking answers. Big answers. How were they able to do that? Well, for that you need to understand that our scepters are effectively AI systems invented by Emperor Rubert II. There's also Emperor Rubert I, obviously, but he will only be important at the very end of our story. As such, whenever I refer to Rubert, I mean the second. Rubert II himself was a human who inherited the will of Rubert I, who in turn was an artificial intelligence which acquired self-awareness. He used his scepters in his war against organic life, and after his defeat, the scepters were distributed among various scholars during a congress taking place on a planet named Zephoria. We will talk about said congress in more detail later on. Returning to our original statement, these scepters were used for life-altering, universe-shattering questions. Think about it. You've got one object which can answer anything. Sounds like a dream, right? Except scholars, being scholars, often wasted their scepters on questions like who loves me or should I eat my entire pizza alone tonight? Real cutting edge stuff here. Turns out they were so busy asking the wrong questions that they burned out the scepters, draining their computational power faster than you can say bad decisions. Now, according to official history, this is where it ends. The scepters were burnt out, the scholars moved on, and life went on as well. But Herta, she had a different idea. She believes the scepters weren't just question-answering devices, there is more to them. And their destruction wasn't just careless scholarship. And here comes our first major character, actually the main character for our entire story. Patavia Adler Somerville. The scholar who was never really part of any prestigious school until much later in her life, and someone who, apparently, managed to figure out that the Scepters could lead to a singularity of knowledge, a breakthrough that would change everything. And in order to make this a little bit easier to understand, a singularity of knowledge basically refers to a technological discovery which had the potential to fundamentally change life. For example, electricity and fire, or lightspeed travel in the world of Starry, stuff like that. Now Herta thinks Patavia got it right, that she was the one who understood the Scepter's true potential, but of course no one believed her at the time, because why trust the one scholar who isn't tied to any powerful institution? Classic. Meanwhile, we've got scholars like Standard Dahl, head of the Astroecology School, who thought it would be a great idea to monopolize all the Scepters for himself. His plan? Use their power to advance technology and answer life's biggest questions. In itself a good idea, right? Except when you try to keep all the toys for yourself, people tend to get mad. Dahl's request to hoard all the Scepters gets shot down faster than a budget request at a faculty meeting, and what follows is, well, chaos. Eventually scholars did come to a temporary agreement during a congress on Sophia, and they decided to share all the Scepters among the 4 most prestigious schools in the entire cosmos. And of course, this was not a solution everyone was happy with, most importantly Patavia, but it was a solution they had to accept, at least for a while. At the same time, as the Congress settles down, a mysterious woman shows up. Dangerous, yet intriguing. She doesn't make any moves yet, she's watching, she's waiting, and trust me, she is probably one of the most important characters in all of Honkai Star Rail. Now here is where it gets messy. The distribution of Rubert's remains, the Scepters, might have ended the Congress, but it is just the beginning of our real conflict, because while everyone was focused on claiming the spoils of war, they seem to have forgotten one small detail. The Scepters never belonged to them in the first place. They were inorganic, and just because Rubert is dead doesn't mean his legacy is. And now Herta, being the only one who seems to really care about how deep this rabbit hole truly goes, is ready to uncover the truth. As she digs further, she realizes this isn't just about the Scepters. She notices that there's something behind them, a presence, a core, yet she's unable to exactly find out what it is. The problem is, the Scepters aren't exactly easy to use. Sure, they're ancient relics of immense power, but activating their full potential turns out that is something your average scholar can't do. The greatest minds of the universe are stumped, and even though they've got these cosmic calculators in their hands, they can't seem to get them working. At least outside of answering a few simple questions. Apparently you can build a machine which answers the mysteries of the universe, but you can't ask it how it works. Classic. And here is where our story takes a darker turn. Enter Menique, an elite soldier from Rubert's empire, an artificial intelligence left over from the anti-life war. Menique, just like many other artificial beings, has been lying low within the Scepters, but now, with all the Scepters scattered across the cosmos, it sees an opportunity. And this brings us to one of the more prominent schools among the cosmos, a school which managed to acquire more than 100 Scepters. And for context here, a single Scepter had so much pull that it would change the power system across the entire universe. Now imagine you have more than 100 of those. This school was a school of evolutionary perfection, and they operated based on a very simple ideology. Neither organic life nor inorganic life is perfect. Instead, a fusion of both will represent the perfect life form, and this was their main mission. This is what they used their Scepters for, by creating a giant computational array, which effectively was to put all their Scepters together into one big ass Scepter. They looked for ways to achieve their goals. Eventually, they managed to do just that, which brings us back to Menique. Crouch Omno, who is the head of the school, decided to use himself as the first experiment. Yet in a twisted move, Menique takes control of Omno's body after the experiment was successful. Omno, or now Menique, was the first successful fusion of artificial and biological life. Omno is now gone, his body just a shell, a vessel for Menique's ambition. And while the scholars squabble over the pieces of their pie, Monique watches and waits, using Omno's identity to move pieces around the board. A classic villain move, right? However, when he finally decides to strike, not everything goes according to plan. He gets captured and interrogated, yet in their hubris and arrogance, the scholars did not see who they were really talking to. They believed Onmo simply went insane due to the experiments and effectively gave him a warning, along the lines of, "Hey, please don't do that again, okay?" Monique, surprised and amused by this, decided to play along. He failed his first attempt to steal the Scepters, sure, but time was on his side. However, luck was not. And this is where we have the first official appearance of one of the most important characters in Honkai Star Rail, at least when it comes to our current story. Remember how we had this mysterious woman who attended the Congress but didn't really do anything? Well, she shows up again. She interrogates Omno, or Monique, and immediately realizes what he is hiding. Not wasting any time, she decides to kill him right then and there. Monique tries to fight back, he tries to stop her, he tries everything he can in order to escape, but is unable to do so as he is overwhelmed by a power so vast he is unable to comprehend it. And as he is about to die, a memory overcomes him. A memory filled with dread and despair, one which is not his own. A memory which belongs to Emperor Rubert I, and he realizes that the woman before him is none other than Polka Karkamond, slayer of Emperor Rubert, a woman who quite literally saved the entire universe from extinction, a member of the Genius Society, and a character I can't wait to see in game. And just like that, Polka disappears. The Scholars, the Strife, Monique's plans, they are all just pieces on a board which Polka doesn't even acknowledge. However, there's more to her than we realize. Much more. She has ties to Nous, the Aeon of Erudition, to Ix, the Aeon of Nihility, and the next time she is going to show up, well, the stakes are going to get a lot higher. So what does Polka really want? What is her connection to the Aeons, and why does she always appear when the universe is on the edge? Those are the questions which are, in my opinion, fairly important, and some of them will be answered because Polka will make an actual appearance at the very end of our story, which, might I add, will most certainly leave an impression. On top of that, there's also more to come, like the origins of Herta, Nous gazing upon Patavia, and the origins of the simulated universe itself. Until then, I wish you all a great day, and I will see you in the next one.